Everybody forget to pick up a present pretty late.
Good afternoon. It's Monday, December 19th, 4 p.m. I'd like to welcome everybody to our Ottawa City Commission study session. Do we have any public comments?
There's none registered.
Thank you. Move us on to items to be placed on our regular City Commission agenda, which is our minutes from our December 12th study session. Are we okay with moving that on to our regular agenda?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Moves us on to items for presentation and discussion. Our first item is our review of our November monthly reports. We'll start with Commissioner Graves.
I didn't have any questions, but I did want to say thank you to all the department heads for putting all that information in there, because I feel like every month there's a little more detail and it's always exciting to read it. So thank you for all that work. That's all I have.
Okay, Commissioner Kaler.
I'm gonna piggyback on what Commissioner Graves had just said. I really hope that if a citizen, and I know that we have a tremendous amount of viewership on these meetings, I really hope that a citizen watches this and then goes back, or at the same time reads these reports, because I think, as our mayor has said, and as Commissioner Graves has said over and over again, if you think nothing is happening in our community or nothing happening in our city, then you probably aren't reading the monthly reports, because tremendous amount of work and dedication happens every single day, and it's summarized so nicely in these monthly reports. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Clayton.
Yeah, I guess I will follow suit as well. I really enjoyed that this one had the comprehensive plan. Some of that information in there that hasn't been in previously. And yeah, like you said, Commissioner Kaler mentioned, there's a lot of really good information that just for the public to read as well, that shows everything that's going on in town. And I think, people that think nothing's happening, reading through that capital improvement plan shows some of the plans we have for the future as well too.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Skidmore.
Yeah, same way, just that all those departments are all at or under budget, and so that shows that the time spent preparing the budget, but also keeping our costs down as much as possible. So I appreciate all the department heads who are doing that. That's always impressive to see that. I guess on page 9, is that one? I can see we got a land bank still on there. All right, are we planning to close that out before the end of the year, or where are we at on it?
You have a meeting on Wednesday,
Wednesday. Yeah.
this Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. Land bank.
Wish granted.
Wait.
Oh, yeah, land bank. We have a meeting
Land
Wednesday.
bank.
Oh, I must have missed
Your
that.
wish is granted. Yes.
Wait, when
Is it after the commission?
This Wednesday, right?
Yeah,
And that would be the, what's it, 21st?
yeah.
Yeah. And I don't, well,
What time set for that?
So I think it's,
Right after the
yeah, it's
meeting.
right
after
after.
the
Yeah.
city commission. We're not feeding you lunch because we're doing that meeting.
Unless we talk about. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, good, thanks. Then page 12, we'll go to that. And I like studying this very closely. I still see our operating money is still at 0.03, is that correct?
Yes.
And the reason I bring that up is recently Oak Star Bank submitted a proposal to the banks in town for their money market account. And the school district presented it, and Oak Star won the bid at 4.05 for their money market account. So I'm just kind of looking at the thinking, wow, 4% for operating money instead of 0.03. I didn't do the math, but I was afraid to do that to see what the difference would be on that. So just something to be thinking about. Paul, you switched your checking account to Oak Star, didn't you? And how have they done? And you can switch from, I think, People's to there. So they've done good. You know what you're earning on your deposits on your checking account? I didn't let you know ahead of time. I was going to ask that, but I just curious.
Yeah, it's, I think it's over 1%.
Okay, that's fine. So just something to park in the back of your mind sometime to talk about.
What's our monthly charge?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if they have that.
So our deposit account is not a money market account. That's a different investment opportunity. And so we would consider a money market account to be something that would compete with our CDs or our investment with KMIP. And so when we bid that out next time, we would want to ask for those rates as well. They might be able to get really close to what we're doing at KMIP, to be able to invest locally. But typically a deposit or a checking account is not a money market account because it's limited
Right.
transactions, and we make hundreds and thousands of transactions in and out of a checking account.
And that,
So this right here is just those deposit operating
Right.
accounts, that's 0.03.
okay, but my point was there, you can easily transfer money from a money market to a checking account. I know they have some limitations, each bank has limitations on how many transfers you can do, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm just thinking about that, what we can do even better than, that's about the lowest in town, I think, at 0.03, so anyway, just something you're thinking about, guys. Page 31. Look here. Yeah, just on this police talent acquisition pipeline, and I saw that not hired after initial screening was 30. And is that for the calendar year, or is that year to date? Anybody answer that, or?
I'm wondering if that might be year to date.
Year to
It's
date.
supposed to only be for the month,
Okay,
and for each month, I think the prior process, I don't believe even had that many applicants. So I need to go back and,
Yeah, that number, at least for the current process, is much lower than that.
okay,
yes.
all right.
I-
So year
I
to date.
need
I just thought, wow, that's a big number. There must have been something in the initial screening that didn't
Yeah.
qualify, whatever it was, but okay.
But generally, we run about a 50% rate of people not meeting the minimum requirement at that initial screening, no matter the number of applications that we get, we run
But
about that average.
They don't even make it to the interview. I mean, what that really says is that after the initial screening, they're no longer in the candidate pool,
That's
right?
correct.
So it's really,
Very early scratch, okay, I got you.
or there could be some rejections because of the requirements to be a police officer.
Okay, all right. And then, look here, on page 36, I like something here, let me see if I can find it here. Yes, SRO, electron, includes the internet safety presentation to the community and schools after school to parents. I think it's the idea of cautioning children about getting online to TikTok, Instagram, and some of these sharing services and concerns. Can you talk about, is this something new we're doing, or am I just missing that from last time?
We've done several internet safety classes in the past, certainly with COVID and some of those other things, maybe not as frequently. But the communities and schools, after-school programs specifically, reached out to us and wanted to do a program for parents during their fall meeting. And so we worked with them to develop this through the school resource officer. And certainly she sees it very regularly in her duties as an SRO, both in middle school and high school, about kids who are using these apps maybe for not the best reasons that generate a lot of our criminal investigations.
I'm glad to see that. I know a lot of parents may are not familiar with their kids that are getting online, looking at and viewing at TikTok. I believe it's a Chinese company, and so just to be careful what kind of information they're able to glean from kids. I'm just concerned about that, but I'm glad you're at least making the parents aware that, hey, there's a concern out there. Don't just let kids loose on the internet without some kind of guidance. Let's see, page 49. There was the idea that, and this is something about the letter of support through KDOT for proposed US bicycle route. It says 55, that would north and south across the country. Is that, I don't know if it's 55 or 59?
No, actually it's 55, Commissioner. That's a route that actually runs, I think it's from Atchison, Kansas. And it's the rail that runs clear down to Ottawa.
Okay.
I think Baldwin right now has received a grant that they're working on part of that trail going north. And there is some conversation about then extending that trail from Baldwin on south to Ottawa, which would then connect to the Prairie Spirit Trail.
I see. Wow. That would follow the rail line between Baldwin and here?
Between Baldwin and here,
That rail,
and then,
okay.
like I say, clear on, I believe it's Atchison.
Okay.
That is where that would eventually end up. That'd get you almost north and south across Kansas, not quite, but
That's
close.
fantastic. I think just get one more rail trail in to intersect with it. I mean, that's what fantastic. to get that. So let's hope that works out for us. But yep, appreciate that. Good news. And then the last thing, I just had Prairie Paws. I don't know if Vanessa's on, but again, I just want to bring up that you're on budget, under budget, and you're in the black this year again. I don't know how many years in a row we've been able to do that, but congratulations to Prairie Paws. Keep on going. I know you've had a lot of interesting things throughout the year. Different situations come up and problems you've had. We've been able to work through them. And so congratulations for the end of the year. Looks like in the positive. Do you have any other want to add to that, Vanessa?
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up. Sorry, we have a dog giving birth right now. It's a bit hectic right here. We're birthing a dog. But yes, thank you for pointing us out that we're doing well. We have had some interesting things happen, some water leaks, some renovations. Community's been very supportive.
Vanessa, we can't hear you.
Well, anyway, I like your numbers are speaking louder than you are, so you're doing good. So we like that. And that's all I had.
Great, thank you. I'll kind of be redundant with the other commissioners and just say that there's, I believe, 86 pages here of really good information about what's happening in our community. I know the next few days are going to be fairly cold, and if anybody needs some good reading material, there's certainly good information in here. Any department heads want to come to the table and give the public any information that they feel they deem necessary for them to hear? Okay. Well, once again, I appreciate all the hard work that the department heads do to bring us this report. There's a lot of good information, and it really makes me proud to be part of this community. So thank you all for all the hard work that you've done. That will move us on to item 2, which is a continued discussion of the revisions to Article 7 of the Municipal Code on Cemeteries. Director Tharp?
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. So let's talk again about where we're headed with regulations related to the cemeteries. First of all, I would like to reiterate that regulations are a necessary thing. And as much as all of us hate them, and as much as everybody's opinion of them is always a little different, our goal is to have something that we can enforce if necessary. But I come back to those words of compassionate and caring and flexible, and really just giving us the ability to be efficient in our maintenance of the cemetery. And so the regulations, as we have looked at, and you all have what is currently the regulation, and then what we are proposing for adoption. And there's not huge differences in these two regulations, but I believe the proposed is somewhat more flexible. First of all, anything that is sitting on or attached to a headstone belongs to the owner of that headstone. Those things will never be touched, never be moved. We've had that experience once. We will not have it again, if at all possible. I would say that, especially it seems here lately, that we've had some people in the cemetery that have stolen some things, and we don't have a lot of control over that. That is very sad, but I believe it does happen, and we have had some here lately. Those decorations, as I said, they can be left indefinitely. Nobody is going to mess with those whatsoever. Then we do have some regulations related to holidays, specific holidays, and around those holidays, the decorations will be left for a week typically. I want everyone to understand, that they have every right to come out and pick up those decorations at that point in time. And this mainly pertains to points in time when we have to mow. Over Christmas, over other holidays, when we're not out there mowing or doing anything like that, quite honestly, these regulations get pretty lax. And as it should be. We're not having to mow around anything or do anything of that nature. The only time that we would pick something up is if it it was completely dilapidated or, had really just run its course, so to speak. And I think everybody wants things to look as nice as we can possibly keep them at that point in time. The regulation of one shepherd hook is something that we have left in place. One single shepherd hook, and I reinforce that. Shepherd's hooks can have up to 4 or 5 hooks on them. And what we run into, the reason that we do that is a single shepherd hook can be turned to where it runs parallel with the headstones. If there's more than that on there, whether trying to mow around them, whether a person catches it on their head or catches it on the roll bar on the mower, whatever that might be, we start creating more problems than fixing problems at that point in time. In essence, that really, kind of covers what's here. We have some specific things, the wreaths across Franklin County that are done. There's really no regulation associated with them. And the only other thing that I would mention is that there are some specific stone setting regulations related to veteran stones. And we have a group in town that has been either setting or resetting veteran stones. And those are a little different than what our regulations are, but the groups that are doing the veteran stones are allowed to set those stones according to those veteran guidelines at that point in time. I still get a lot of questions. I had one person call me today. We have ongoing things with the cemeteries, and we always will. There is absolutely no getting around that. But we continue to work to make this as cooperative and collaborative an effort as we possibly can with the community. That is our goal, and I hope everyone understands that our goal is to make this work for everybody. I think at the same point in time, I'll point out again that what I just said is probably about as impossible as anything there is in this world. But we will continue to work at that. With that, I would entertain questions.
Commissioners, any questions for Director Tharp?
Is there anything posted in the cemeteries that has a rough bullet points or anything kind of along?
There are regulations posted in the cemetery now, and we will be probably re-looking at what's posted in the cemetery. There's a couple of things that we would like to do. We've become more digital in the search on the cemetery. We would like to put a QR code out there that did some of the same things related to regulations, and the things that we do to that end. We're looking at some of those kinds of things to have a kiosk up there that maybe was a little more efficient than just that board. So yeah, we're trying to bring all of that into the 21st century, so to speak.
So are you taking a look at an interactive kiosk with a computer there that people can interact with it on?
We have not got that far yet, but that is a thought. That is a thought. We like the QR code because then folks can, whether it's their iPad or whether it's their phone, they can bring it right up there. Something like a computer setting out like that is probably going to be a little hard to maintain. But interesting thought, something that we can consider.
Commissioners, any other questions for Director Tharp?
I don't have a question, but I know I had reached out to you last year and some people had some concerns. And so I appreciate you and the staff looking at this and updating those guidelines. Thank you.
Okay.
Are you asking for this to be moved on to our agenda?
I think
Require passage?
I think we would like to move it onto the agenda just to give it a third time, for us to be in front of the public, so to speak. I think everything that we do that gets us out there, and if a regular meeting will help that, I think this 5-minute conversation doesn't hurt any of us, and we just get another chance for people to understand what we're trying to do.
Commissioners, are you okay with moving on to Wednesday's agenda?
Yep.
That's what we'll do then. Thank you, Director Tharp.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that'll move us on to item 3, which is a continued discussion of the lease purchase bids with Director Landis. Hello?
Hi. Thank you. This is really, we don't have anything to discuss with you other than to just let you know that we're moving ahead with working on the lease purchase agreement with Oak Star Bank. We brought you that bid tab last week to discuss, and we're in the process of reviewing the final agreement and asking that will be distributed to you before the meeting on Wednesday, if we can add that to the agenda.
Commissioners okay with adding that to the agenda?
Yeah.
Sounds good. That's what we'll do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 4 is an update on our capital improvement plan for 2023 through 2027. Director Landis also.
I'm back. This actually is also just an update. We didn't necessarily want to go through any of the detail in the CIP unless you would like to. If you have additional questions, we're happy to answer them, but wanted to just give you an update that we took it to the Planning Commission and have given them the opportunity for the last 2 months to review it during their study sessions, and then also last week they held a public hearing, and then they made a motion to accept the CIP in conformance with the comprehensive plan. Director Hall gave them a memo that went through each of the items, finding them in conformance with the comprehensive plan, and we're happy to answer any questions you have. Otherwise, our next step would be to place it on your regular agenda and ask for your acceptance of the 2023 through 2027 CIP.
How does the CIP play into, or how is it working together with taking in ARPA funds and other funds that we may have received that were really probably not envisioned when the CIP started?
Yeah, so it's a great question, because I'm sure that something's already changed since the last time we brought it to you. But I think that we've always prefaced these discussions with, this is a moving document. This is really to give everyone an understanding of what kinds of things are sitting out there for the future. And because we're so late in the year in adopting this CIP, we've been through the budget process. You heard about it. We've probably added and subtracted other projects along the way. And for next year, we want to start that discussion, even bring back to you an updated version in January and February, so we can start finding out what your priorities are in advance of the budget season, because then we can make sure they totally tie together for the upcoming year. And so that would really be where we'd love to move that process to.
So I was thinking some of these projects in 2023 could be planned for early in the year, and so we could be planning ahead for that and get ready for it, I guess. So,
Yes.
Any other questions for Director Landis? So are you wanting us to move it, just the acceptance on?
We'll just put an acceptance item onto the regular meeting agenda, if that's okay with you. Then we can have that be actually physically approved by the governing body as well.
Commissioners, you okay with moving that on to Wednesday's agenda?
Yeah.
That's what we'll do.
Okay,
Thank you, Director Landis.
Thank you.
All right, that moves us on to comments by our city manager.
A couple of things. In working with the city clerk, the pool RFP will be going out this week and will be due back February 15th. All right? So, and the other thing is, I'd like Mike Hall to come up and talk to you about our MIH award and program.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I'm very pleased to announce that on Friday, we received an announcement from Kansas Housing Resources Corporation that City of Ottawa received a grant award for $120,000 in moderate income housing grant funds. And it was specifically for the two projects submitted by Heartland Design Build LLC. Heartland Design Build is an Ottawa firm, construction firm. Amber and Joseph Thomas, and they put together a really good set of proposals, and so we're going to be working with them at this point to make that happen.
Mike, have you had any conversations with them about why this one was chosen over the other applications and why they weren't chosen?
Other applications from other communities? Our application? I have not had that conversation with them yet, and I plan to be talking to them tomorrow. I have some other questions for them.
Right.
So
Were there any others funded in Franklin County?
none in Franklin County. I'd say the closest one was maybe Carbondale and Emporia. So they were spread, like I said, they wanted to spread the funds throughout the state, and that's pretty much what they did. And so now, we're now working toward the next application round. That application round ends, or the application's due, February 17th of next year. And we're looking at a couple projects, or at least one project. And we expect to bring a recommendation to the city commission in January.
It's good news.
Has that application process changed, or do we know?
Well, it's interesting. The application is very similar, but what they did is they put out an RFP, a request for proposals for an MIH state general fund MIH, moderate income housing grant, and it's for relatively small projects. And they put out another one. It's called moderate income housing ARPA, so it's using ARPA funds and other funds, and it's for larger projects. So there are two different applications. And my understanding is you have to pick one. You can't try to pick two.
And I know that we have been, you and Paul have talked to somebody that's interested, and we already have an application from someone that's interested, and then we have the outstanding ones, right?
Correct. And so we have the one following, the one that did not get awarded, that's out there. I've tried to contact them and need to also continue to try to contact them. And then we have another one that we're expecting to get more information on it, hopefully by today. We'll see where that goes. One thing I just want to say, we really worked as a team on this, and Paul was with us the whole way, and John Cohen with the chamber, and our staff, and Susan Galmore with Southeast Kansas Planning Commission. And so it's good to see we got some results from it, and two really good projects. So
Mike did a good job leading.
Also,
so
here,
Congratulations to you and your team.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mike Bird Dog did.
How many new structures, or how many new residents are included in this particular grant?
So it's 4 single-family homes for rental, and that's at North Cedar and Red Jacket, former Lincoln School site, and 2 townhouses at 9th and Walnut.
Will that be a rental too?
That'd be a rental also, yes.
So 6.
And one other source of funding for those is the Housing Investor Tax Credits, which is another Kansas initiative to support moderate income housing.
Great. Mike, thank you. And certainly thank all of you for the hard work that you did. And this is really going to be good for our community, and certainly look forward to the next round.
Yeah. One more thing. Last week, we had a joint meeting where we presented the potential changes to the neighborhood revitalization program boundary, the neighborhood revitalization area. At this point, the other governing bodies will have a chance to review that on their own, and then we'll be coming back to you in January, I expect, maybe late January, with an update.
So here's the thing I think you ought to think about, especially with the data that Mike has put together, because I was kind of excited about the data he put together. Just think if we'd have had that 20 years ago, we could have been benchmarking the progress, say, every 5 years of the NRP in those neighborhoods. And it could be very well, after a governing body sets benchmarks, it could mean very well that some neighborhood might actually benchmark out of the program and you move to another. So be thinking about that, because I think that data will be critical to you in the years ahead. And it really was a good job by Mike to put that analysis together and do that.
For sure, great information.
Then we discussed adding some other properties to it still, so it's not too late, I assume, to submit those added properties that we were talking about. Where we at on what do we do?
At this point, we're gonna gather more data on other areas of the city if necessary, and it's not too late to have more discussion about other areas.
I think we talked briefly about there next to Kansas Park, between Kansas Park and Main Street, there's some properties that have long east-west lots, and the west half wasn't included, and I think it'd be a good idea to include that in there. And also some other small areas of town too, with homes that were built maybe in the 60s or 70s that could maybe qualify as well. So I kind of like to, if we can, before we submit it for proposal to change, to have included all the properties that we're thinking that we should include, and maybe get input from other commissioners on some other neighborhoods if you think something's not in there that should be. This be the time to put them in there.
Well, I kind of thought it'd be a little back and forth for a little bit. I don't think we were on a deadline. I think we'd given them some information. They were gonna vet it themselves and then send us their opinions. And then if we wanted to add more, maybe we could, or maybe David might suggest adding some more.
And I think some school district or school board members had ideas for some that were near the school.
So I think in my mind, it's a little back and forth until we all come to an agreement on what we want to include at this point.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Director Hall. Anything else?
Except a short executive session. Blaine will tell you the motion with Blaine, myself, and Melanie for about 10 minutes, please.
Before that, comments by our city commissioners. Commissioner Graves,
I have no comment tonight.
Commissioner Kaler.
Nothing tonight, except for doing any announcements. Did you want to include the land bank announcement, land bank meeting?
Yeah, I can. Commissioner Clayton.
Basically, only to be careful on Thursday. It's looking like, obviously on Friday, because the Friday's cold, but if my app's correct, it says over 6 inches of snow, but wintry mix, I should say. So that's even worse than snow.
Let's hope they're wrong.
Let's hope they're wrong. It was 8.5. I took screenshots. It was 8.5 yesterday. It sounded like 6 1/4. If we keep trending down, we might have Kansas and have nothing. So
8 centimeters.
yes, 8 centimeters. Oh, that's probably right. It's empirical units. I forget.
Yes.
But obviously that, and then with the cold as well, reach out to friends and family for anyone in need, anyone in cold. Bring your pets inside. I will say I have a husky, so if you see my dog outside, it's not my fault. She won't come in.
You come get the peacock out of the
Peacock,
backyard.
yeah.
Yeah,
Coyote.
go get it,
Yes,
take
yes.
it.
Good thing. So,
Anything running loose.
yes. And that is it.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Skidmore.
And just remind everybody, tomorrow we're introducing Kyle Piney to the bank. He's going to be taking my place by the end of the year, and so come on out to meet Kyle, and then also we'll have some treats throughout the rest of the day for my departure. So come on out.
What is that?
Tomorrow.
So we've been giving out those gold pins. Did they buy those in your honor?
These are 10 cents a piece.
All right, I'm gonna read the announcements because I know nobody ever listens to it after when we reconvene, just to make sure that,
Somebody does,
some,
not
a few
everyone.
people do, but I want to get everybody to hear this. So first of all, we have our December 21st regular meeting at 10 a.m. and following that will be our land bank meeting, just to discuss, I guess, finalizing a few things out with the land bank. And then December 26th, Christmas holiday, city offices are closed along with our study session is canceled. So we will have an executive session. City Attorney, you wanna?
The motion that we're asking for, Mr. Mayor, would be a motion to recess into executive session for a period of 10 minutes for attorney-client privilege to receive confidential communication from the board's attorney, city manager, city attorney, and finance director. President will reconvene here at 4:46.
Motion.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion's approved.